Hey guys, welcome back to the Auto Hound. So this is Eric again, and I have a special guest with me today. This is Asa Gladstein. He is from Squad Driven. They're an automotive. Well, how did you explain it earlier?
So the way I explain Squad Driven essentially is we create unique automotive events, and we also do some marketing. But we have a very close network that kind of comes off as a club. So it's a little bit of everything.
That's awesome. And how did you get into it, the genesis of it, what we were talking about earlier?
Yeah, no worries. So I started in college. I went to school out in Minnesota. I created my own major, kind of like an international business degree. School was always tough for me, and I loved cars. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to find an internship because everyone in college gets an internship, and it's like the thing you got to do. Yep. So I got an internship with a local car rally. It had like 30, 40 cars at the time. It was pretty small. Crown Rally, who has since grown into a massive, over 100 cars, 3 rallies a year, wow. North, south, west. And they do raise a ton of money for charity. Really great organization. But anyway, so I started working for them. It was just me and the owner. He's like, yeah, we've never had an intern, but if you want to work for free, I can cover your expenses and you'll have a good time and get the experience. I was like, done. Yeah. Great. So I worked for them I was an intern for a year. It went so well. I did pretty good as well. I got a bunch of sponsors on board, and I helped grow the teams and essentially just helped grow their 30, 40 person rally into what it is today. A small part of it, because, obviously I was only there for a couple of years, but in the beginning it was, growing from super small. And I was along that journey from, learning how to kind of do everything behind the scenes. And I finished up school, moved out here, and I was like, I want to keep doing the same thing. So how can I do that? So excellent. Started creating events, and it started with a rally and other charity events, and kind of morphed into what we are today, sort of. I'm still growing.
Can you tell me what your vision is, your kind of future vision for Squad Driven?
Sure. So I had a friend ask me this the other day. They were like, where do you see yourself in 5 years with this company? Which people, ask you that all the time growing up. And I'm like, I don't know. But for the business, I would so currently we do 2 rallies that we usually have anywhere between 20 and 50 cars per rally. It kind of depends on how far we're going, how long it is, etc. So kind of some future visions. I would love to fill both rallies with 50 to 75 cars each. I would love to raise more money for charity at the rallies and throughout the year. Because up to date, I think over the last 4 years, we've raised, I want to say about $200,000 for charity, which is cool. Wow. Yeah, a couple different charities. So we, that's always, it's good to kind of combine what we do in cars and what we love to do and also giving back.
Yeah.
So, we love that. So I would love to have 2 rallies that are, bigger than I am now, and essentially kind of expand my network. So more events throughout the year. I would love to have some more staff. I have a really great business partner / he's not an employee, but this guy, Tiago, who works with me, he essentially does all my logistics. So he does all the staffing, he helps me plan the routes, he helps me plan all where people need to be when. So I would love to have kind of a full staff team running the rallies, and I'm essentially expanding, if that makes sense. So I would love to do, more rallies, go further, offer cool, more experiences. Yeah, I was kind of rambling, but I mean, you get the gist.
I think that's the important part is when you are planning these rallies and you are planning the East Coast run, I saw it as this really unique opportunity for not a lot of money to get involved with it and have a great time at great hotels. You have one that's set up in New York where you get to do the New York safety track.
Yep. Yeah. So in September, so essentially the whole gist of our rallies, for those of you who don't know and listening, and for you, Eric, so essentially it's a pretty much all-inclusive weekend, where you sign up and I plan all the hotels, meals, track day. We like to include in each of the rallies and some sort of specialty events. Like in the past, we've rented out the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for dinner, or the NASCAR Hall of Fame for dinner, and like cool stuff like that.
Wow.
So in this June, so next month, we're going to Pocono Raceway on that rally, and then in September, we're going to New York Safety Track on the second rally of the year.
So I see you've done a lot of charitable events, and could you kind of just tell me, how do you select the charities?
Sure. So the first charity we worked with was the Judy Fund. So they essentially are like an offshoot of the Alzheimer's Association. So most of my grandparents are still alive, and most of them do have Alzheimer's. It's not funny, but it's kind of like we make the best of it.
Yeah.
That was the first charity it kind of was personal to raise money for. The second year, a friend of mine from high school has something called Marfan syndrome. So it's a connective tissue disorder. I had never heard of it till him, but essentially like most people with Marfan need to have open heart surgery under the age of like 18 or else like to prolong their life because their heart, they have a valve or something that I think is stretched or there's something wrong with it. So, you know, if they don't have it fixed, they might not make it. So we started raising money for them. His name's Dario. He's a good friend of mine. He's actually the grandson of Frankie Valli, who you may know. So kind of a cool fact. But so we raised money for them for a couple years actually. So we raised I want to say we raised $100,000 to $150,000 just for them alone.
Wow.
Yeah, over a couple of years. So that was great because they're still a relatively small organization. So we ended up going to their charity gala. We were invited, and it was really cool. And we kind of like parked the car out front with the Marfan stickers on it, and like it was awesome in New York. We like to raise money for a bunch of different charities. They're all great, and there's so many charities,
yes.
but it's hard to pick one.
Yep.
So we raised money for them for a few years. We still work very closely with some other Marfan families locally. And then this year, we're actually raising money for the Larkin Motors Foundation.
Okay.
So they are a shop that we've worked with in the past that started a charity because they're all veterans, and they essentially like monthly fix a couple of veterans' cars for free who can't afford it.
Wow.
So that's kind of cool because, you know, like veterans, when they come back after they get deployed, some of them have PTSD and they have some sort of, you know, trauma that happened.
Yeah.
So, you know, just having a car that's broken or something is just another thing that's, you know, can stress them out or,
absolutely,
you know, not do well. So these guys are kind of doing everything they can to make it easier for them.
Awesome.
So yeah, so this year we're raising money. Our goal is $75,000 this year, which would be the most we've raised. Who knows if we'll breach it, but I'm hoping we can. We're at like 13,000, 14,000 right now.
So, if you don't mind,
no, you're good.
How do I tell my fans and my subscribers and your subscribers, you know, how we could get to that $75,000 number? I mean, where would they go? Would they go to the Squad Driven website or?
Yeah, so for each of the rallies, essentially, when you create your rally team, we have Classy is like a fundraising portal. It's a website, classy.org, I believe. So when we create the rallies, we essentially create a fundraising portal for each of the rallies. This year we're just doing one because we're raising money for the same charity for both.
Yeah.
So essentially there's different links, and you can, I don't know if with YouTube, can you put a link right here?
I can definitely.
I don't know if you do that, put a link right here. But essentially it's a portal where it keeps track. There's a cool bar of like $0 to $75,000, and each of the teams is broken down. So it's kind of a competition, like a friendly competition. And you know, you can, like the link right here can be the generic donate to the whole event page.
Wow.
Or it can be, you know, pick one of your favorite teams, favorite cars, favorite people, you know, something like that.
That's awesome. And can people who are just not part of the rally, can they donate to like their favorite team or favorite car or something like that?
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of people, the initial donation starts when you sign up for the rally. I donate a portion of each of the rally entry fees to their, once someone creates their portal, I'll donate the first donation. Mm-hmm. And then the way that we raise all the money is each of these teams fundraises to their respective networks. So like myself, you know, I'll take my own page link, post it on my Facebook, email it to my friends and family, Instagram, all that stuff. So the public, you know, everyone watching this channel and everyone in the car world is pretty much, most of our donations come from the car world. So, you know, just the car community is so tight knit that everyone wants to help each other out.
Yep.
So, you know, it's a great place to kind of help give back. So
that's fantastic. That's great. You know, it's nice to hear that people are giving back. You know, people look at a lot of people that drive expensive and exotic cars and like, oh, well, they're unapproachable. If anything, I have personally noticed about, especially your teams and your people that are associated with your events, they're all super approachable, all super nice. Oh, go sit in the car, have fun, enjoy it, and you treat it like it's like, yes, it's a special thing, but it's special for everybody,
right.
And why not everybody share it?
Exactly. I mean, that's where, like, you know, everyone had to start somewhere. Like, I started I had a 2002 Honda Civic, and like I would always go to these car shows, and you know, if there was an R8 or a Lamborghini or whatever it was, I was like, that's awesome. You know, someday I'll work and I'll get that car.
Yeah.
So you know, I want to. Part of what I do is like with the Marfan kids, especially, like I'm friends with one of the Marfan families locally, this kid Cam. I have a handful of cars, so every time I used to mentor him, so I would take a different car and bring it to him and, you know, let him sit in it, and we'd go for a ride, and he loved it. So same, like you had just mentioned at car shows, like if anybody asks, can I sit in the car? Of course. Like, you know, I'm part of our community is like our network and our ralliers. We buy these cars and we have these cars not to show off for ourselves. It's because like we like them. We like fast cars. We like cool cars. And also we want to, help inspire others and like give someone else the opportunity to sit in a car that they may or may not be able to afford or drive, give someone else to drive the opportunity, something they may not be able to,
Exactly. Well, speaking of stuff that you may not be able to drive, but let's kind of move on to your next adventure that you've done, which is the Boston exclusive auto rentals. So can you talk to me about that and what's that website? And because I think it's a cool website, but I'd rather you say it than me, and it will be linked in the description below, but go ahead.
Awesome. Yeah. So of course, as an entrepreneur, I needed to keep doing other things that I enjoyed doing. And then me and Tiago, who I had mentioned earlier, kind of helps me with Squad Driven. Me and Tiago became, business partners, and we rebranded, relaunched, and it was actually 100% his idea, the name. But Boston exclusive auto rentals, and the logos are really cool. I'm not wearing a shirt, but it's a really cool bear head with a crown on it.
That's awesome.
And he had a great idea, which is his slogan, or our slogan, was "No boring cars." So we've kind of used that to, we're going to do some apparel with it. We're going to kind of do a whole brand around the "No boring cars" concept, because nobody likes boring cars. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So don't want to be driving around in the Camry all day long.
Exactly. I mean, it's got its uses. It gets you A to B. It's reliable, good gas mileage, but unfortunately for myself and you and all car people, I gotta have something fun.
Too funny. Yeah, I mean, it's just I went on the website. It was really kind of cool just to see all the different cars that you have. I saw the new Sasquatch, the Bronco, which you got to see this. It is black. It is menacing. It's mean. Highly recommend it. So go to the website. It's what NoBoringCars.
NoBoringCarsMA.com.
NoBoringCarsMA.com. That will be in the link description below. So if you want to rent a car when you come to Boston, check that out. Can you rent one of these cars for one of the rallies that you do? Yeah,
so essentially, because it is both my company and my company, relevant or not, Bear is a sponsor for the rallies. Mm-hmm. So essentially, they're getting the decals on all the rally cars, and we are offering special rental packages for anybody who, hey, I want to come on a rally, but I don't have a fun car for whatever reason, whether it's I don't have room in my garage, just my other priorities, I want to have my reliable car or my work truck or whatever, and I just don't own a sports car, but I would love to rent one and bring it to the rallies. So long story short, yes, we do offer rental packages for Boston exclusive auto rentals for the Squad Driven rallies.
That is amazing. So is there anything else you want to share with us? And you mentioned your first car, so it's not on the question list, but you mentioned your first car was a Honda, 2000 Honda?
2002 Honda Civic that we bought from my aunt. So it was, me and my sister shared it in high school. We paid a couple $100 for it just as like a thank you. But yeah, it was that was my first car, and then it kind of went up and up and up from there. And now I have a few cars, but
What's your kind of favorite car to own and have?
My favorite car, I think my R8. They're all great in different ways. Yeah. So I love my R8. It sounds the best. It looks the best as far as like a sports car goes. It is a supercar, so it's not necessarily the easiest to get in and out of. It's not bad. It's pretty comfortable. But I just picked up a new Bronco that you had mentioned. Love that thing. I had no idea. I was not sure what to expect. Yeah. Love it. One of my most surprising cars, for the rental company, I picked up a 2022 GR86 Toyota.
Yes.
So it's a manual. A friend of mine, Sam, is one of the sales managers at Toyota Watertown. And I keep forgetting, but we were talking about something, and he's like, hey, I have this Toyota, this new 86. Someone ordered it and backed out. Do you want it? Because especially with the market nowadays, the 86, the Bronco, all these cars are just impossible to get.
Yes.
And any of them, if you ordered it, you have to wait years to get it. Yep. So both of those, luckily, I stumbled upon someone who ordered it, waited, it came in, and then they just backed out. So that's been a very fun surprise. A Boxster like you just got. Yeah. Love it. Wasn't sure what to expect, but awesome car.
They're a lot of fun, and
they're all fun in different ways.
I really want to thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me
with us. If you guys are interested in Squad Driven and participating in the East Coast Run, if you're interested in renting a really amazing exotic sports car, so NoBoringCarsMA.com. And again, if you like this type of content, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, it's about the drive.